Section 3 of the SmartLyte Plus training will cover the maintenance procedures of the SmartLyte Plus. Please take a moment to review the topics listed here before moving on. Maintenance on the SmartLyte Plus. Prior to performing the first calibration or running the first sample, the SmartLyte Plus electrolyte analyzer needs to undergo a simple cleaning and conditioning procedure that helps ensure the analyzer will perform properly. This procedure should also be performed at the end of each day after samples have been tested, upon installation of electrodes, and if it's been more than 24 hours since the last cleaning and conditioning. The process involves cleaning the sample path and conditioning electrodes. The bottles containing cleaning solution and electrode conditioning solution should be available along with a pack of lint-free tissues that will be used to dry the probe. Always check the expiration date on the bottles of the cleaning solution and the electrode conditioning solution. In some cases, when the analyzer prompts you for an action and you do not respond within a set period of time, an alarm will sound and the unit will discontinue its current operation. To begin, press Maintenance after installing electrodes or in the main operations menu. If the Clean and Condition buttons are orange, these tasks are required before calibration. Start by pouring a small amount of cleaning solution into a cleaning container or sample cup. On the display, press Clean. Follow the prompt Open Door. Upon lifting the sample door, the pump will begin to turn. When the prompt Load Sample is displayed, dip the probe into the cleaning solution until the white probe closed door is displayed. Use a lint-free tissue to remove the cleaning solution from the probe and then close the sample door. To condition the analyzer, pour a small amount of conditioner into a clean container or sample cup. When ready, press Condition on the display. Follow the prompt Open Door. Upon lifting the sample door, the pump will begin to turn. When the prompt Load Sample is displayed, dip the probe into the conditioner and wait until white probe closed door is displayed. Use a lint-free tissue to remove the conditioner from the probe and then close the sample door. When complete, press the Home button or Back button, then calibrate. Upon completion, the analyzer displays parameters in green for a successful calibration. The analyzer is now ready for sample analysis. It is very important that the main door is closed during calibration, since it provides shielding from sources of electromagnetic interference. Decontamination procedure. Cleaning the sample probe, fill port, and analyzer surface is recommended maintenance on a weekly basis. It's very important never to use strong or abrasive cleaners, alcohol-based disinfectants, or disinfectant sprays. Never attempt to decontaminate any part of the analyzer before shutting it down and unplugging it from the power source. Always wait 15 minutes to allow the disinfectant to evaporate before plugging the analyzer back in and turning it on. To complete this procedure, deprotonizer disinfectant will be needed. The minimum deprotonizer disinfectant contact time is 15 minutes and it's to be strictly followed. Pour a small amount of deprotonizer disinfectant into a container. Start by opening the front cover and the sample probe cover. Use swabs soaked in deprotonizer to clean the fill port and surrounding areas. Clean the sample probe by wiping it with a damp cloth soaked in deprotonizer. Wipe the interior and exterior surfaces with a clean, slightly damp cloth soaked in deprotonizer, avoiding getting fluid inside the analyzer. Very dirty surfaces contaminated with blood should first be cleaned with swabs or a sponge that have been soaked with deprotonizer disinfectant. If the grooves in the front door and the area around the measuring chamber window require more cleaning, use a small commercial plastic brush to clean them. Wait 15 minutes to allow the disinfectant to evaporate before plugging the analyzer back in and turning it on. The deprotonizer disinfectant procedure should be followed as described. Cleaning the reference housing. Monthly maintenance involves cleaning the reference electrode housing and should be performed prior to daily maintenance. To complete this procedure, a small amount of deprotonizer will be needed. Before you begin, first put the instrument in a maintenance hold. This will ensure the pump does not turn on during the procedure. Start by pressing the maintenance button on the main menu. Then, from the maintenance menu, select the red Hold in Maintenance button. When the hold in maintenance is initiated, the instrument remains in this position for 60 minutes. To cancel, press the red Cancel button. Open the front cover of the analyzer. Then unplug the tubing of the reference electrode from the receptacle below the left side of the measuring chamber. Slide the measuring chamber forward until it locks in the front position. Unclamp the electrode tray by moving the clamp up. Then, remove the electrode assembly from the analyzer. Holding the reference electrode by the neck, unscrew the reference electrode from the reference housing. Store the reference electrode in the reference electrode transport housing filled with reference solution. The reference solution can be taken from the reference electrode housing. It is very important that the reference electrode always be stored in reference solution and never allowed to become dry. Pour deprotonizer solution into a small container and submerge the reference housing into it, ensuring that no air bubbles remain in the housing. Do not submerge the reference connector or tubing in the deprotonizer solution. After 15 minutes, remove the reference housing from the deprotonizer. Thoroughly rinse the housing with tap water and dry. Then, unscrew the transport housing from the reference electrode. Rinse the transport housing with water and save for later use. Check that the O-ring on the reference electrode is properly seated. Holding the neck of the reference electrode, carefully screw the reference electrode into the reference electrode housing. Reinstall the electrode assembly, starting with the reference electrode and moving to the right. Close the clamp on the left side of the electrode tray by moving it forward and down until it locks into position. Ensure the electrodes are properly seated. Slide the measuring chamber back until it snaps into position. The measuring chamber may need to be tipped upward to slide the electrodes into the receptacle. Plug the tubing of the reference electrode into the receptacle below the left side of the measuring chamber. Close the front cover of the analyzer and exit Hold Maintenance by pressing Cancel. At this time, daily maintenance is recommended. If daily maintenance is not needed, proceed with the calibration. Replacing the pump tubing set. Replacing the pump tubing set should be done on a quarterly basis. Before you begin, first put the instrument in maintenance hold. This will ensure the pump does not turn on during the procedure. Start by pressing the maintenance button on the main menu. Then, from the maintenance menu, select the red Hold in Maintenance button. When Hold in Maintenance is initiated, the instrument remains in this position for 60 minutes. When changing the pump tubing set, start by opening the front cover and slipping the two pump windings from the pump rollers. Disconnect one tube at a time from the old pump winding plate and reconnect the same place on the new pump winding plate. Take special care to reconnect the tubes to the correct nipples on the pump winding plate. Install the new pump winding plate. Slip the new pump windings over the pump rollers, being careful not to cross the tubes. Press the red cancel button when finished to exit the hold maintenance state. Replacing the main tubing harness. Before you begin, first put the instrument in a maintenance hold. This will ensure that the pump does not turn on during the procedure. Start by pressing the maintenance button on the main menu. Then, from the maintenance menu, select the red Hold in Maintenance button. When hold in maintenance is initiated, the instrument remains in this position for 60 minutes. To cancel, press the red cancel button. Once a year, or as needed, the main tubing harness should be replaced. To begin, from the main operations menu, press Diagnostics. Then select Check Valves to access the Valves Operations menu. Open each valve by selecting the corresponding valve from the Check Operations menu. Each valve will stay open for 10 seconds, then automatically shut off and the screen will revert to the Check Operations menu. For a safe removal, use a cloth or towel to remove the cap. When the valve is open, remove the valve cap by sliding it down in the directions of the arrow. Then, remove the pinch bar. Repeat these steps for each of the 5 pinch valves. Next, disconnect the reference electrode and pull out the white electrode receptacle. Then, disconnect the tubing with the green band from the left side of the electrode tray. Open the sample door, remove the probe tray, then remove the tubing with the red band from the tray. Remove the fluid pack and slide out the white fluid pack receptacle. Slip the 2 pump windings from the pump rollers, then pull out the tubing harness. If reusing the pump tubing set, remove the pump tubing from the pump winding plate and set aside for reinstallation. Reinstall the new tubing harness in reverse order using the tubing diagram in the front door as a guide for installation. If reusing the pump tubing set, take special care to reconnect the tubes to the correct nipples of the pump winding plate. If needed, use a small dull object to help push the tubing into position. Then, activate each solenoid by pressing on from the Check Valve menu in Diagnostics. Slide the pinch bar on and snap on the valve cap in the direction of the arrow. It is recommended to replace the sample probe and fill port at the same time the main tubing harness is being replaced. Replacing the probe and fill port. It is recommended to replace the sample probe and fill port at the same time the main tubing harness is being replaced. To make sure that the pump does not turn on during this procedure, press Maintenance on the main operations menu. Then, press Hold Maintenance to prevent the pump from turning. To replace the sample probe, start by opening the front door and unplug the probe tubing from the left side of the electrode tray. Then, open the probe door and carefully remove the probe from the holder. Snap the new probe into the holder. Reattach the tubing to the left side of the electrode tray. Next, remove the fill port tray from the sample probe mechanism. Remove the tubing from the fill port tray bottom. Reattach the tubing to the bottom of the new fill port tray. Then, Reinstall the fill port holder at its default position. Close the sample door followed by the front cover. On the main menu, press Calibrate to calibrate the instrument. Replacing the electrodes in the SmartLyte Plus. First, slide the measuring chamber forward until it locks in the front position. Then, unclamp the electrode tray by moving the clamp upward. Remove the used electrodes from the measuring chamber. Then remove the new electrodes from their protective boxes. Remove the seals or adhesive coverings along the sides of the electrodes. Check the presence of an O-ring in the left side of the electrode. Verify that all measurement electrodes have sufficient fill solution. Each should be approximately 3/4 full. Now install the electrodes in the measurement chamber, beginning on the left, working to the right. The reference electrode housing is installed first. Note that the electrode has a lip on the bottom that rests on the flat edge of the measuring chamber to aid in proper positioning. Ensure that the electrodes are seated properly. After all electrodes have been installed, lock the clamp on the left electrode tray by bringing it forward and down until it locks. Then, slide the measuring chamber back into position. The measuring chamber may need to be pushed upward to position the electrode pins in the analyzer receptacle. After installing the new electrode, the SmartLyte Plus electrolyte analyzer needs to undergo daily maintenance, a calibration, and QC measurement to verify the performance of the electrode. In order to ensure the quality of the measurement results, complete a quality control test on 3 levels: low, normal, and high, after installation of each electrode exchange. Checking the fluid pack status and changing the pack. The SmartLyte Plus electrolyte analyzer monitors the levels of solution in the fluid pack and will display a warning when the fluid pack is running low. This is a reminder to check the fluid pack status. To check the fluid pack status, you can access the information by pressing the Pack Status button on either of the main menus. The number of samples remaining in the pack as well as the volume consumed will be displayed. Never remove the fluid pack during a calibration or measurement procedure. To change the fluid pack, start by removing the protective strip from the new fluid pack. Once the protective strip is removed, be sure to keep the fluid pack upright to avoid spillage. Do not discard the red protective strip. You'll need it to place on the used fluid pack when removed. For reference, write the installation date on the label of the new fluid pack. Remove the used fluid pack from the analyzer. Place the protective strip on the used fluid pack. Always dispose of used fluid packs according to your local regulations for hazardous waste. Using one hand to hold the instrument, slide the new fluid pack into position. The analyzer will automatically sense a fluid pack has been installed. It will read the enclosed tag for the lot number, expiration date, number of samples remaining, and the volume remaining. Then, on the main menu, press Calibrate to initiate a calibration, which should be done whenever a fluid pack is replaced. Replacing the printer paper on the SmartLyte Plus. The thermal printer paper supplied by Diamond Diagnostics contains an indicator strip to alert you when the paper roll should be changed. To replace the printer paper, open the front cover of the analyzer. Remove the remaining paper by pressing the paper feed button. To avoid damage to the printer, do not pull the paper out of the printer. Use the paper feed button to advance the paper through the printer. The printer paper is heat sensitive on one side only. Please make sure that you insert the paper roll correctly. Place a new paper roll in the paper tray and fold it as shown here. Feed the creased end into the printer below the rollers. Press the paper feed button to completely feed the paper through the printer. By pressing the paper advance button once, the paper will automatically advance 4 lines. Pressing the button more than once may be needed to feed the folded paper completely through the printer. When finished, tear off any excess paper. This concludes Section 3, Maintenance Procedures for the SmartLyte Plus. Section 4 of the SmartLyte Plus training, we will review the measurement procedures when introducing samples.